Hi. I'm here to talk to you about 5 reasons Cannibal Holocaust 2, the Catherine Miles story is better than Part 1. Cannibal Holocaust is one of the most notorious and possibly ugliest films ever made. It's so extreme the filmmakers were brought to trial in Italy. And all this is great. We want to see films that push the limits of good taste and explore extreme territory, right? However, I am finding the older I get the less I want to be offended. I recently watched Cannibal Holocaust 2 on YouTube and found that while it was much more lighthearted than the original, I actually enjoyed it more. Here are 5 reasons I feel Cannibal Holocaust is a better film than Part 1. 1. No animals were killed by the filmmakers in the sequel. I am not animal rights activist in any way. I enjoy eating animals and even order veal when I get the chance. As such, I do not think killing animals for entertainment should be strictly off limits. Thing is, seeing animals getting killed is not something I truly enjoy either. Publicly admitting I have watched a film where animals were killed for entertainment purposes may end up limiting my dating pool. Animals did die in Part 2, but it was more like trials of life type thing. Animal killing animal, which I feel is much more socially acceptable and doesn't leave a negative vibe on my psyche. 2. There are no violent rape scenes in Part 2. In the original film, a documentary film crew violently rape a native woman while laughing it up and recording the whole incident. Rape is a very terrible thing, and I'm sure Part 1 director Ruggero Deodato was only trying to illustrate how truly awful it really is. Still, seeing this act portrayed on film could trigger a rape survivor, forcing them to relive the whole trauma all over again. Part 2 does have a scene where lead actress Elvira Audrey has her virginity forcibly taken with a corn cob or bamboo shoot or something, but I feel this is less reprehensible than man-on-woman rape. 3. Less white guilt so I don't have to feel bad. In Part 1 you're seeing South American natives eating human flesh, but the real monsters are the white documentarians who rape, kill and start fires for fun and to make a better documentary. In Part 2, heroine Catherine Miles tries to help a crippled native by beating his leg with a club, then tying the leg to a piece of wood. The leg heals and the native once again can be a man. There is, however, a scene in Part 2 where white men shoot machine guns at natives from a helicopter, then make racist comments while beheading them. 4. Part 2 was a love story. The main theme of Part 2 is the love story between a native and Catherine Miles. He is the strongest of the tribe and also the best hunter and warrior. As such, he could have his pick of any woman in the tribe. 5. It has a happy ending. Sort of. Part 1 is a found footage film. All of the main actors are only seen in recovered film after they are all dead. So their friends and fellow scholars recover the film cans and find out what scumbags they were. The end. She gets out though and gets married and lives in a big city and has a kid. She's okay, although pretty distant. The narrator says the native dude killed himself, but I am wondering how he would have known that because the tribe is completely isolated from the outside the world. I decided narrator just made that up. To be fair, Part 1 was better in ways, so here is a second list. Picture 1. Part 1 had a way better soundtrack. It's so strange how arguably the most disturbing movie ever made could have one of the most beautiful soundtracks I have ever heard. Riz Ortolani's Cannibal Holocaust theme is truly a masterpiece. 2. Part 1 made a lot of money. Part 1 grossed more in Japan in its theatrical run than E.T. big bucks all over the world. 3. Part 1 was a social commentary. I have heard that Part 1 was a commentary about the Italian Mondo films of the 60s and 70s. All great horror is a metaphor, so I give props to the original in that regard. 4. Not a cannibal tribe in Part 2. The tribe that stars in Part 2 was a headhunting tribe and not a cannibal tribe. Kind of makes the title pointless. 5. Part 2 is not even a real sequel. Yes, Part 2 is a sequel in name only. I'm guessing the producers named it Cannibal Holocaust 2 to try and cash in on the notoriety or the original. Other movies have done the same thing as well. I still liked it better though. Picture Mormo has supported the punk rock and underground movie communities for over 10 years with press, videos and merch. He suffers from psychic borderland syndrome, and the only way he will feel better is if you join his mailing list at www.mormazine.com. Hope you found it useful. For more information, please click the link in description.